Good morning. This is Judy from Artistic Artifacts. We're in Alexandria, Virginia, artisticartifacts.com. Thank you for joining us this morning as we continue our venture into holiday. Christmas in July, so we've kind of creative holidays in July through August. So we have lots of fantastic fabrics that are coming in on a regular basis. And so to team up with the holiday season, we're hoping to give you some ideas to use with your fabrics or else your mixed media or a combination of the above. There's lots of wonderful gift ideas on Bernina's We All Sew blog. I know I was looking at some great ideas the other day. So that's another resource. You don't have to have a Bernina to look at that. I know you know that. But a Bernina makes it just a little bit better. So we just want you sewing. We want you being creative. I think we are still looking for what's normal or what the new normal is going to be on this considered post-pandemic. I'm not sure that it's post-pandemic. I think it's a new normal. So, but I think the trick to getting through all of these changes in our lives in the last year and a half is to try to be true to yourself and be creative and be kind. Be kind to yourself, be kind to everybody you see. I try and experiment every once in a while where I will be in the grocery store, I'll be walking, and I'll just smile at people. And you know what? They smile back. And they're so surprised that you looked them in the eye and smiled. They probably remembered it for the rest of the day. So try that when you're out. Try it. It's just a nice way to keep ourselves going and keep us going and happy and creative. All right, so I have a totaled overwhelmed table today. What we're working with this morning was experimenting with foils. So foil, the brand that we sell is Deco Foil. It comes multiple sheets together, and I'll show you what a sheet looks like. And it will, it adheres to your surface with glue. All right, so this is totally and then there's oh, there we go. Let's see. Comes in a pen, comes in something that's a little bit more than a pen, but a squeeze top, and then there's actually a gel. So you need to use these formulated glues to work with taking the foil off the paper and onto what we're going to put it on. Now, because I like instant gratification, I tried to use a Versamark also. So Versamark is a glue that we use with embossing powders. I didn't have any luck with the foils, but I think I still have it in the back of my mind. I might try a little bit more. So because we had some other glue bases then that worked as well. So I'll try to explain it to you. And I have a lot to tell you today, so I'm like gushing. So let me show you the end result. So let's see a couple of cards here. What happens is you have to put the glue on, and then you need to let it dry for about at least an hour. And you want it to be tacky. So I took this cover card and applied the glue and put it on the partial part of this card. So you can see the foil is all my background. And then I have this little vintage piece. I use some washi tape. We have some great washi tape from Tim Holtz. And we have sorry, just checking my microphone here. So this is my little card that I've done. So I do a lot of scans for holidays and different things from postcards, and this actually was a photograph that was a postcard. If you're looking for some vintage graphics, I highly recommend the Graphics Fairy. So if you Google Graphics Fairy, she has amazing, amazing stuff. There's some that you purchase, she gives away a lot free. So you can create your own collection of some vintage images, Graphics Fairy. So then the next one, this is a stamped image. So what I found a little tricky was making sure that I had enough glue on the stamp to pull the foil. It gives you a different look. It's not what I expected. So this is the stamp. So the stamp was a little tricky for me. So then what I did as I took this piece, and it has a little tip, and I went back in, so I put gold over here, and then I went back in because I wanted to highlight. You can see a couple dots, you can see that I made a circle, and I didn't do it in all of the circles, I did it in some. I let that dry, and I put it back through with red.
It was Graphics Fairy, right?
Graphics Fairy, yes. So that's how it is. Now, this experiment is like so exciting, I can't believe it. And you guys might know this already, but hey, I catch up. Glue dots. And this is a fancy roller that I inherited from somewhere. And this gives me the fantastic solid foil that I really was looking for in the stamp. So you can see the difference. And boy, it doesn't get much easier than glue dots. I'm like so excited about glue dots. I don't use them to glue my ephemera down, but I do use them to glue my foil. This is another one. We have these great, fabulous stamp collections by Seth Apter, and we picked out, there's Wish, there's another one that says Believe, and so I took the stamp and stamped it, and this one is Wish. So you can see that. It's always kind of got a little bit of hash marks in there. You can see the word, and it's still got a little better coverage on the ink, but it's still a little tricky. So there's these. I use this one, and then this is another one that's of Seth's. Are great. So this one, we have some great vintage packages. So this is holiday paper ephemera that is on the line, and it is on the website ready for you to use. It's great. It's loaded with wrapping paper, more than you need, very vintagey retro patterns and things. So I always keep a little bit of that around, and this is one of those vintage wrapping papers. I had some foil work down here. I didn't like the way it worked, so I covered it up. So I don't have any foil on this one. I could very nicely add some glue dots to go with my dots, and we can try that. But I didn't like it, so I covered it up. All right, so there's my end result. So what I'm going to show you in this pile of hoopla here is how I kind of organize my studio to work with my mixed media. So I showed you the little holiday bag. So these are great. They're available online, $10. They're in our ephemera section. Then I have things where I've done some pictures, where I've tested them, and I keep them together, and I can always pull this out if I want to use it in a collage or a card, but it's all, you know, just kind of together. Then I have my foil box. So these are where I've done some experimentation with foils. This is with using a stencil, and I could get a much better coverage with the glue, which made the foil pop more and more solid. This one is a good example of when you lightly put the glue in there, see, you can see this, whereas this is a solid chunk of glue, but it gives you a different look. So this is kind of my foil box. I have a piece of silk paper that has foil on it. And I may not use this as a whole piece, I might just cut chunks out of it. This is a piece of luchador that's been painted, and then some foil on top of that. So I keep this little box. I definitely prefer to work on pieces that I then can add to my artwork.
So Barbara Bacon asked that, will this recording be available? And yes, it will.
Yes, we put all of our Facebook Lives on YouTube. And we also spend time putting links in there to show you the products that we're using. Some of you may have this already in your stash, but we want you to know what's out there and available.
Was that Angelina?
Yes. This piece is Angelina here, and it's on a piece of heavy-duty luchador, and my background was done on a jelly plate.
So I didn't know whether that was
not foil. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So I keep more than one bin, but I'm just going to show you this bin of things that are for my cards. So this is my card bin, because I like making cards. It's really low stress for me. I have fabric. I found some hankies that somebody had fused. You can see I have pictures. Everything is kind of in here. And some days I just like to make my backgrounds. So this is all jelly plate. I'm going to add some where I've actually just used the foil. But so when I want to make cards and relax, I just go to this bin. It's all supposed to be there.
So there's a question about how does this work with the stencil? That's what you're going to demonstrate.
Yeah, I'm going to show you because I like it better with a stencil. And then these are all little bits and pieces, and I try to organize them. Ha ha ha. Sometimes that works. All right, so let's see. There is two different types of glue. So when they first came out, they had Deco Foil. Then they came out with, this has been replaced with Deco Gel Duo. I still prefer using heat. I think that the thing about the Duo, and don't quote me on this one, is I thought that this was usable with or without heat. Yes, use with or without heat. This one, if you have some of the original that's transfer gel, this must be used with heat. And the reason why you have to use heat is the heat's going to soften up your glue, and so then therefore your foil is going to stick. Okay, so heat is actually a very important component. All right, I do like to include bits, so we're going to do some fabric where we will do, I'll show you how to use the foil on it. The problem that, let's see, those are just other little bits. Let's see, have those. Considering I'm an instant gratification girl, foil is somewhat tricky because you really do need to let it wait. You have to let it dry. If you try to force it, it's a disaster. ask me how I know. You cannot rush it. It's just not possible. So let me see. These were ones that were done with the stencils. These are the glue dots. This is the other thing I tried. So this is Scotch double-sided. And then this is the tape that is double-sided tape. So this is here, and then this is the glue dots. And this is actually on fabric. So let me just, see, this is all my foil. So I have a box of foil. See, I really love foil. I'm just, the sheets in the containers that we showed you, this is what they're like. And they're very, very thin. And when you're using foil, you always want to do color side up. And that, so yes, so it goes from the container, and this is what's in those containers. There's all kinds of different finishes on them. There's multicolors. We have a lot of choices in color and finish. Holographic. All right. So, I'm thinking about what I'm going to show you. Here. All right, bear with me a minute.
We don't currently carry glue dots.
Oh no, but we need them now. We need to get glue dots now. I think they're actually fairly easy to get a hold of, but yeah, you gotta have glue dots now. Okay, so let's see what I can show you here. This one, we're gonna add a little bit of color. So here's your glue dot, and it's on a carrier, like the old typewriter ribbons. So can you see that? Okay. And we'll go here. And I don't really worry about, you can see I have a glue dot on the back side. That's okay. Now, the way that they recommend using foil nowadays is that you have a laminator. I've tried a lot of different things. I think I used to do it with an iron. I find that I kind of make my little bits and pieces, and then I add them to my artwork. So I really tried to do a lot of things before I went to the laminator, because it was like, of course, it's another tool. And the other tool that's really great with foil are these Cricuts and Sizzix and all those die cutters. I have held off on those, but there's a whole bunch of pieces that you can use to die cut, and it's a glue, like we call it a fusible in the fabric world, and that you can die cut all kinds of different shapes. So there's, I've only touched the tip of the iceberg here. Is, the die cutter thing will absolutely make it rock and roll.
The difference between the dots is, one is size, and I believe when you go to a craft store, there's different shapes as well. So it's just, they come in a lot of varieties.
Okay. All right, so, and So Leslie, you think our cut works will work with cutting out shapes and being able to?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Bernina has a program that's called Cutworks, so that is going to work as well. So even I learn something new every day. All right, so my dots are there. I've got my laminator heating up. The nice thing about the dots is it's going to hold it in there so you can see the dots. And if I just, this is the kind of stuff I like, because if you can see it right there's where the dots are. And, okay, come on. All right, I'm going to heat it a little bit. It'll peel off, but it peels off easier with a little bit of heat. So what we're going to do is I have parchment paper, and I have my laminator. I put it on 5 mil, because again, I don't want to mess around. I just want that baby melted. And it's going to come through, and so it's heating up the glue a little bit. And then it's adding some force to press the foil into the glue. Come on, come on, come on. Come on. Okay, okay. And you do need a carrier, so you do have to have that whole parchment paper thing. And I think parchment paper rather than a Teflon sheet is the right weight.
Could you use a heat gun?
I don't know. I've not tried that. Okay, come on. I guess the demo gods are not with me today.
And try the other end.
Let's try. Because it looks like I'm peeling up, yeah, the glue dot. Okay, I promise you it worked at home. Nope, it's not coming up.
Do you need to put it through a second time?
Let's try it. It worked at home, I promise you.
The laminator cooled down?
Yeah, the laminator did cool down. I had it on at the beginning when we first set up and it shut itself off. So laminators you can find at Staples, Staples Online. That's who I generally buy our office supplies from. Come. Chug, 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 chug. If it doesn't work this time, we'll go on to the next one. But I have proof it worked. Nope, it's peeling up the whole thing. Doggone it.
We're closed for 5 more minutes, so I guess it takes us as the time.
Okay, we're gonna let it cool down, see what's going on. Oh well, punt on to the next one. See, it really did work. I promise. Okay, so you want to know about using the stencil, which I actually, as I said, I prefer the stencil.
So Ellen said she found a laminator at Joann's for $15.
Oh my goodness, that's an awesome buy. Okay.
We just don't usually mention that shop.
All right. So I'm going to use the Duo. And anytime you have any types of these glues, always put Vaseline around the top here in this area so they don't glue themselves shut. Again, that was a great suggestion that I can't really take credit for, but it worked out really well. Okay, then we have our favorite tool is a used gift card, and you can see this has got some consistency to it. So, you know me, I like to use my stencils wonky. So let's see. Turn this around so you can see. And you want it thick. This is definitely, that's why I think you get a more solid look with a stencil and rather than a stamp. But I know lots of people do them with stamps. So, but this is like when you're using molding paste, you want to absolutely make sure that you have it thick enough. All right. And I did not bring a little tub, but you want to put these immediately in water because you are using a glue, so it's, it'll just stack up on the stencil. It's not, again, life-threatening, but definitely with a rubber stamp, you want to make sure that you put it in water. All right, so then now we have to let it dry. So that we can't touch until it goes a little bit clear. So here's one that I did earlier. Can you see the? All right, so let's see if the demo gods come back.
Is that color on there just because your stencil, it came off your stencil?
Yes, yeah, it did. Oh, thanks, Sharon. Thank you. All right, so color side up. You can, it probably is better to cut excess foil away and put it back in the bin. See if it's there. Yay! My dots worked. So there's my dots. Had to wait. Not my best feature.
Tilt the car so it shines.
Tilt the car so it shines? Okay. Really makes a nice, it's just such a nice additive to it. I'm gonna get glue all on top of something else. Okay. All right. So you can see where the glue is. Ta-da! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! It worked! So this is really nice and solid color, which is what I like about it. Now, when you're using a stamp, you need to have a sponge or one of those daubers. We have lots of daubers, and those are always easy to use too. So let me show you what happened to me when I did the stamp. If I can find it. Okay. Okay, now my fingers are sticking together. All right, so this card, can you see it? It's better. This was putting glue from the jar onto that stamp. So to see the difference, I'm gonna color side up. Okay. So we'll put that, so I did that previous to coming because I needed to let it dry. And so it's gonna go through the heater.
Nancy, we just moved Thursday night to Saturday morning. These are all about how do I use it.
Da, 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 da. Okay, whew. Yeah, now that baby's heating up. Okay, can you see there's a little bit of where it's adhering to the glue?
Well, I don't know how, I mean, our
Now, so to me, that's a totally different look.
It's cool.
It's different because you can see where I sponged the glue in there. And then what I did, which I don't seem to be able to find it, is the Deco Foil. So I took that and squeezed a little bit in here, and then I let it dry, and then I put more foil over it. So you can see this one has some turquoise, it has some multicolor green. That is what we had, that's what I did after the fact. So I did leave some of it here, so you can see. But I felt like I wanted more color. I wanted more foil on that. All right, so that was what kind of, it frustrated me about the stamp, but what it gave me is some pattern and some leaves. That's what I really liked about it. I got a little bit of a blob up here, but I think it was really successful in some other places.
You could just add dots there.
Yeah, I could add dots there. Dots, I love dots.
Red dots for holly berries.
Yes, there you go. Awesome, Chris. Great idea. Takes a village. Takes a village. Okay, that is what we have for you for today. So what questions do you have? Is everybody ready to try some foil? Yeah? Any questions at all? All right. There we go. Make your cards, make your collage pieces, be able to use the foil all year round. We have an awesome assortment of colors. ArtisticArtifacts.com. Please post your ideas and creative finishes products on Artistic Artifacts Creative Minds Facebook page, and we look forward to seeing you again. Look for a pop-up on Cantha. We have received another shipment of Cantha, and we'll let you know a little bit in advance, but it's not going to be on a third Thursday. We're going to be able to pull that one, and it will be on Instagram this time. So
one question.
Yes.
Could you use foil on clothing?
Okay, so there's an older, I would go to Laura Murray. Okay, Laura Murray has taught clothing design for quite some time. She uses paint sticks, she uses foil. There's a special foil that is required for working with clothing that you are going to wash. But I would refer you to her. I have not done the tests on this Deco Foil Duo glue. I know you can't use a solvent on it, you can't use a dry cleaner, but I do know that it is possible. I have not tested this glue to be sure.
In Lucretia, it was a laminator, not a printer.
Okay, all right. Thanks for joining us. We'll try to monitor any questions that you come up with for the rest of the day. Thank you. Bye.